A lack of muscle power and strength as you age can be a risk factor for frailty, falls and fractures. So this workout is designed to stimulate your muscles to increase their ability to forcefully contract to improve their function. Hi everyone and welcome to Exercise for Health, and in today's video we will be doing a stimulating workout for the muscles so they're able to react faster for movement, providing you with improved body stability. The exercises in this routine will be performed in an explosive manner against a light resistance, so could potentially pose an increased risk for injury, but if you focus on getting the technique right and you don't allow the joints to move beyond their normal range of motion, you can always modify the effort by changing the speed of the movement if necessary. The most important point you'll need to adhere to throughout this workout is to ensure that you don't lock out any joints during the exercises. We will be doing 8 exercises in a legs push, legs pull, legs push, legs pull sequence with 2 sets of 10 reps on each exercise, but where the speed of the movement will be key for each rep. I will be using a therapy band for some of the exercises, but you could also use a resistance band if you have one. We will also use a step, a wall space and a chair, so make sure you have these available before starting. If you need a set of therapy bands or resistance bands, which are a great aid for so many exercises, I'll leave a link to some in the description below. Okay, get yourself ready and let's power up. Right, we're going to start this workout with some mobility exercises just to sort of warm up and get the joints moving and activate the muscles around the joints. So let's start off with an ankle rocker. So what I want you to do is stand with your feet to about shoulder width wide. You can hold onto the wall for this if necessary for balance purposes, but we're going to lift the heels up off the floor, and then as the heels drop down, we're then going to lift the toes back off the floor. So we're kind of rocking backwards and forwards. We'll do this 10 times. So set yourself up, off we go. So up, and then rock back. That's 1, 2, so get as much movement as you can around the ankle. 3, 4, 5, 6, right up and then right back. 7, 8, 9, one more. 10, good. Right, we're going to work from the ankle up to the knee now, so we're going to do some knee bends. Again, you can hold on to something for support if you need it, but we're going to alternate between left and right, trying to get the heel of the foot up as close as you can to your bottom to bend the knee as much as you can. So, lift up, 1, going to do 10 on each, 2, 3, 4, keep the knee back so we're not bringing it up to the front, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Good. Right, let's go from the knee up to the hip now. So we're going to do some knee raises. Again, we'll alternate left and right. As we lift the knee up to the front, try and keep your posture upright so you're not allowing the spine to collapse over. So we're trying to keep everything still here in the torso. So alternating with the knee raises, up and then down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one on each side, and 10. Good. Right, let's now move to the spine. So we're going to do some rotations of the spine called a torso twist. So stand with your feet about shoulder width wide. Bring your hands in front of you, just in front of your chest with the elbows out to the side, and then we're going to rotate each way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. As you do this, try and keep the hips relatively still. 5, so it's just the top half of the spine that's twisted. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one each way, and 10. Good. Right, we're going to move from the spine up to the shoulders now. So we're going to do some rotations of the shoulder. So keep a slight bend in the elbows, and then from there we're going to circumduct the arms right the way round. Get as much movement as you can all the way around. Try and get the arms to come up close to your ears as you bring it round behind you and then back round to the front. So we're going to do this 10 times. 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can hear all that clunking in my shoulders, 4, 5, 6, 7, big movement, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Right, the last mobility exercise we're going to do is to mobilize the elbow and the wrist. So for this one, we're going to be doing a bicep curl action in the elbow, but as we do that, we're going to also get the wrist to move as well. So as we bring the hand up, I want you to flex the wrist, try and get the fingers to touch the shoulder, and then as the arm then straightens down, we're going to turn the wrist around and try and push the heel of the hand down towards the floor, try and lift the fingers up, so getting the extension of the wrist. So both hands together, do this 10 times. So fingers to shoulders, and then as you straighten the arms, lift the fingers up, pushing the heels of the hands down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, last 2, 9, one more, and 10. Good, okay. So now we've mobilized a lot of the joints in the body. We're now going to go into the explosive main exercises, and we're going to start off with a step up. So I'm going to use this step just to make it easier for you to see, but if you don't have one of these, doesn't matter, just use a step that you've got at home, maybe like the bottom of your stairs or something like that. Essentially what we're going to do is keep one foot up on the step. We're going to do 10 reps on one leg, we'll have a little rest, and then we'll do 10 reps on the other leg. Now the key principle behind these movements that we're going to do in the next 8 exercises is to make sure that we accelerate up. So as we shorten the muscle, in this case it's going to be the quadriceps muscle, the concentric contraction is the shortening phase. That's where we want to try and drive up and get as much speed as possible into that part of the movement. As we then lower back down, so the muscle will then begin to lengthen, that's like putting the brakes on, that's where we want to try and control the descent. So that's going to be really, really slow. So each rep's going to explode up really, really quickly, and then we'll come down super, super slow. And that'll be the idea behind all the exercises that we do over the next 8. So with your step, place one foot up on the step. I'll just quickly show you what the exercise is. The movement from there then is I'm going to drive up onto step as quick as I can, and then lower back down, keeping my body forwards. As soon as my foot touches the floor, I'm going to then drive up real quick. So we're getting that fast up, slow down. If you need to hold on to something for a bit of support for balance purposes, that's also okay. So foot up on the step, lean the body forwards. We're going to do 10 reps. Ready? Off we go. 1, slow down. 2, slowly as you go down. Control, control, control. 3, really fast on the way up. So when we come up, don't lock the knee out the top. 4, slow down, and make sure we're trying to work this front leg. 5, so it's not so much pushing off the foot off the floor, it's driving off the foot that's on the step. That's 6, 7, control, fast. 8, slowly down. 9, whoa, lost my balance there. 10, slow down. Okay, good, right, little rest. We'll then switch over to the other side. So you're gonna have the other foot on the step. So as we're doing this, try and make sure that you are putting all the weight through this leg to drive off the foot that's on the step, rather than leaving the weight back and then pushing off the foot that's on the floor. It's this one that we're trying to get most of the work in. So as it's shortening on the way up, that should be explosive and fast. As the muscle lengthens as we come down, that eccentric contraction's got to be super slow. Right, set yourself up ready. Again, use the support if you need it. So 10 reps on the other leg. 1, slowly down. 2, slow, fast. 3, control. 4, good. 5, just make sure the knee that you're driving off of, 6, isn't starting to collapse inwards, so make sure it's in line with the foot. 7, slowly down. 8, last 2. 9, control that descent, slow as you can. And 10, good, slowly back down. Good, okay. Move that out the way. So that's the first one done. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to do a wall push, which is basically like a wall push-up. Difference with this one is I'm going to do it lean against the wall here. I want to make sure that we're further away from the wall so that when your arms are straight, you're still angled into the wall, so you've got some weight through it. If you explode hard enough, you get a really good contraction on the muscles, you'll probably find that your hands will come away from the wall and you'll end up pretty much upright. Obviously, if you start too close to the wall and you push really, really hard, you're going to end up pushing yourself backwards as you fall over. So make sure that you are leaning into the wall with your arms straight. We're going to go real, real slow as we go in, so as the muscle lengthens, and then you're going to push back out as hard as you can. If you find yourself moving away from the wall a little bit, that's fine. As you lean back in, then get the catch on the wall and then control it back in super slow. So you want your feet about shoulder width wide. Make sure they're enough distance away from the wall, so when your arms are straight, you feel that you've got some weight going through it. And then from there, we're going to control in, feel the tension slow, and then push yourself away. Notice now I've come away from the wall and then go back in. So we're going to do 10 reps. Set yourself up ready. Off we go. So slow in, push yourself away. That's 1. Slow in, and then explode. 2. Control in, push. 3. 4. So if you find you're not creating enough power to actually push yourself away from the wall, 5, that's okay. Just see if you can do it so you start to feel less pressure on your hands when you've got your arms straight. That's 6, 7, 8, good. 2 more. 9, last one, and 10. Good, okay. Little rest, and then we're going to do a second set of that one. So do find that if you find when you're pushing that you're not actually moving yourself away from the wall, that's actually okay. But what you should feel is the pressure will decrease if you push yourself out hard enough and creating enough force. It'll feel quite light, like there's light resistance on your hands, and then obviously then as you go back in, you'll feel the pressure increase again. Right, let's do a second set. So set yourself up ready. Again, make sure your feet in the right place, further away from the wall. And then slowly as we go in, so control, and then explode out. 1, 2, slow in, push. 3, slow in, push. That's 4, good. Control it as you go in. 5, don't let those elbows come out too wide. 6, so they should be just a short distance away from the ribs when your head's close to the wall. 7, 8, last 2, 9, 1 more, and 10. Good. Okay, should have felt that a little bit around the shoulders and around the chest. Right, the next one we're going to do is we're going to go back to legs, and this is where you're going to need your band because we're going to do a hip hinge. So I want you to lay your band on the floor and then place your feet on the band so your feet are about a shoulder width wide. So you've got the 2 ends of the band pretty much about the same length. Now when we do the hip hinge, it does mean that we're starting in an upright position. We're going to start with the slow movement because this is when we're lowering with gravity and where we're going to be stretching the muscles. So that's the bit that we're going to do slow. As you do that, make sure you're sticking your bottom right backwards. Now you notice here at the bottom that I've got no tension now in the band, and it's important that when you're at the bottom at this point before you come up, you still need the band to be taut. So I'm just going to wrap the band around my hands a little bit so I've got tension here. When you get to that point and you feel the stretch on the hamstrings on the back of the legs, then I want you to drive your hips forwards to come back upright again, stretching the band just that little bit more. Now it's important with this one, as you do the exercise, you don't want to drive up with your back, so it's not like I'm trying to lift my torso up. Think more about trying to drive your hips forwards to generate that movement. So it's more about driving the hips forwards, which brings you upright, so we can work more into the glutes and get those hamstrings working. So set yourself up ready, feet about shoulder width wide. Make sure you've got enough tension on your band. And then off we go, 10 reps. So slowly as you go down, stick your bottom right back. You might get your hands close to your knees and then drive the hips forwards. That's 1. Slow as you go down. Drive up. 2. 3, good. Keep the head and the chest up as you're going down. 4. Make sure you get to that point where you feel the stretch on the back of the legs. 5, before you bring yourself back upright. So there I can feel the stretch and then drive up. 6. 7. Good, control it. 8. Last 2, slowly down. Drive up, 1 more. And drive, good. Okay, have a little rest and then we'll go on to do a second set of this one. So just make sure on this one, as you are going down, remember it's thinking about the hips going backwards and forwards rather than you thinking about bringing your torso up and down, okay? Because that's just going to help them work in through the hip joint rather than place focus on your lower back. And it will work the lower back a little bit anyway with this exercise, but we don't want to place too much emphasis on the lower back to do the work. We want to try and make sure it's the muscles around the hips that are doing the work. So let's go into the second set of 10. Set yourself up ready. Okay, so drive the hips back, lower slow, feel the tension, and then drive up. 1. Slowly down, power up. 2. Slow, good. 3. 4. 5. So as you are powering the hips forwards, don't obviously overextend. 6, just get to the point till you're upright, but don't push the hips too far forwards. 7, otherwise you're going to feel some compression in the lower back. 8, last 2. 9, 1 more. And 10, excellent. Right then, the next one we're going to do is the standing row. So this is where you're going to use your band again, but you need to anchor it around a point in front of you. So I'm going to use my banister, making sure that the 2 ends are about the same length. And for this one, it's a row in action that we're going to do, but a standing row. If you find it more comfortable to place one foot in front of the other to give you a bit more stability, that's absolutely fine. But you can also do it with your feet a shoulder width wide. You want to make sure that, again, the band is taut when you've got your arms straight. So we don't want it too slack. So we don't want to be here where there's no tension in it. Just work yourself back a little bit so you've got a little bit of tension in both ends of the band. So the movement then is I'm going to explode back. So the concentric contraction, shortening the muscles, is driving the elbows back, bringing the fists to the ribs. And then the eccentric phase, which is where the muscles lengthen in, where I'm getting that controlling it forwards, and then pull back again. So again, explosion as you come back, and then controlled descent as you let the arms go forwards. So set yourself up, make sure your anchor point's stable enough that it's going to hold the band so it doesn't flick up in your face. Okay, ready? Off we go. So explode back, slow forwards. That's 1. Squeeze. That's 2. So pull those shoulder blades back together as you drive the elbows back. 4. So as soon as you feel the shoulders being moved forwards, you'll feel a little bit of a stretch in the muscles around the top of the back. So that's where we want to then start to think about driving the elbows back again and accelerating through that muscle phase. That's 7, let's do 3 more. 8, keep control of the torso. 9, so it's only the arms that are doing the movement. And 10, slowly forwards. Good, okay, have a little rest. And then we'll do a second set of 10 in a second. So just make sure with this one that you're not using your torso to lift and lower or stretch and release the band. All the movement is coming from the arms. You're trying to restrict any movement with the torso by activating a lot of your core muscles to keep your body stable. Okay, so let's go into a second set. Set yourself up ready, and off we go. Squeeze back, slow forwards. Power, and then control. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. 6. And again, squeeze it back. 7. 8. 9. Last one. And 10. Good. Brilliant. Okay. Right, the next one we're going to do, we won't need the band for, is we're going to do a forward step and lunge. Now for some of you, particularly if you've got knee problems, this might be a little bit of an issue. There is going to be a little bit of impact as we step forwards, so there's going to be that jarring effect. But to control it, I would say don't make the step quite so big, and also once you've stepped, don't lower yourself too far down. So essentially what we're going to do, the step forwards and the lowering phase is that slow part, but then we're going to drive off that front foot to bring yourself back up to standing position. So just as a demonstration, I'm going to step forwards, control my descent, and this is where you can choose how low you go. So the lower you go, the more emphasis you're going to put into the legs, and then really push off this front foot to push myself back up to standing, but in an explosive manner. We're just going to work on one leg, and then we'll have a little rest, and then we'll switch over to do the other leg. So feet shoulder width wide. Set yourself up, make sure you've got enough space in front of you. Choose which leg you want to work first. Off we go. So we're going to step forwards, lower, slow, push back up. That's one. Step forwards, lower, slow, explode. 2, 3, good. Get that control as you go forwards and down, and then push back up. 4. You choose how low you go. 5. If you can go lower, brilliant. 6. You might find it's more difficult to explode back up if you go too low. 7. Control. Push. 8. Control down. Push. 9. Last one on this side. Push. 10. Good. Okay. Quick rest, and then we'll switch over. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Just make sure with this one you are trying to keep your body relatively upright. There will be a little bit of movement as you go forwards. You might lean forward slightly to put a bit more emphasis on this front leg. That's absolutely fine. But just make sure you only go down as low as you comfortably can. What we don't want to do is we don't want to offset that explosion by going so low that you're really pushing and struggling to get yourself to come back up. It'd be more beneficial to create a shallower movement to get more of an explosion to come back. So it's more about the speed of the movement, that's key. Right, opposite leg. Set yourself up, off we go. So step forwards, control, explode. 1. Step, slow, push. 2. 3. 4, good. Drive up. 5. 6, control it, explode up. 7, 8, 9, last one, 10, brilliant. Give the legs a bit of a shake. Okay, you'll be glad to know for the next one we're going to sit down. So you need your resistance band again, your therapy band. And you're actually going to be sitting on the band for this one because we're going to be doing an overhead press. So I'm going to lay the band out on the chair, sit down some over the top of the band, and then grab hold of the ends of the band, just so that when you've got your hands just to the side of your shoulders, you should feel about the same amount of tension on each side of the band. Just need to adjust mine a bit. Yeah. So when you've got your hands in front of the shoulders and you've got hold of the band, you want to sit yourself up tall. The movement is an overhead press for this one. So we're going to explode up as we push the arms above the head, but then control the descent as you come back down. So as we're stretching the band, getting that concentric contraction in the shoulders and the triceps as they shorten, that's where it wants to be fast. And then as the muscles lengthen as it comes back down, that's the bit that you want to do slow. So sit yourself up tall. Make sure you've got the hands and the fists just to the side and the front of the shoulders. Off we go. So explode up, slow as you come down. That's 1. Push, slowly down. So make sure we're not locking out the elbow joints at the top. It's 3. If you do find you've got restrictions in your shoulder joint mobility like I have, then don't think about pushing straight up above your head. What you might find more comfortable is you kind of push forwards on a bit of an angle. So still going up, but think about going forwards. That's 6, 7, keep the torso upright. 8, slowly down. push, 9, one more, and 10. Good, slowly back. Okay, a little rest and then we're going to a second set. So yeah, like me, my shoulder mobility is really, really poor, so I find it difficult to actually straighten my arms above my head to keep them in line, so I do need to end up going forwards a little bit for me, but you can adjust that angle for you, because irrelevant of which direction you go in, you're still going to have the resistance of the band. Okay, we're going to do one more set of 10. So set yourself up, sit up nice and tall, and off we go. So push, slowly back. That's 1. Push, slow. 2. 3. Make sure you're trying to get that difference in the speed of movement. That's 4. So fast for the first half, slow for the second half. 5. 6. 7, make sure you're not locking the elbows at the top. 8. 9, last one. And 10, brilliant. Okay, right, we won't need the band for the next one, but we will need your chair. And we're going to use the chair as a guide because we're going to do squats, but you can also use the chair and actually do it as a sit to stand if you prefer. So you want your feet about shoulder width wide, and the idea is that if I sit myself on the front half of the chair so I know where it is as a guide, we want to make sure that we're powering up, but we're coming down super, super slow. So the bit on the way up is you drive yourself up to standing. Now, depending on how much power you can generate in your legs, you should almost feel kind of weightless when you get yourself to standing. So it may be that as you come up, you might feel as though your heels will begin to lift off the floor. Some of you may have the potential to actually come up and actually jump if you can generate enough power to actually do a squat jump, which is great, but I'm not expecting you to do that. So the idea is from here is I'm going to squat down slow. So this is where the muscles are being lengthened. As soon as my bottom taps the chair, at that point I'm going to drive up real quick. You notice then that my heels just lifted as I became a little bit weightless near the top. So that's how we're going to do our reps. So feet about shoulder width, set yourself up, off we go. So slowly down, go as far as you comfortably can and then drive up, that's 1. Slow down and then drive up 2, good. I'm using my arms out in front as a counterbalance as I squat, 3. But you can put your hands wherever you prefer. 4, slow, power, 5, slow, power, that's 6, 4 more, 7, 8, slowly down, 9, 1 more, and 10, good. Okay, have a little rest. We'll do a second set of that in a second. So for this particular exercise, the chair I'm using is actually quite low. If you've got a chair that's relatively low and you're struggling to get your bottom to touch it, don't worry, don't think about going that far down. So you can even do it just as a half squat, so you can go to here and then come back up. As long as you've got that difference in the speed of the movement where you're going slow and then fast, okay? Again, if you feel a bit weightless at the top, then you know you're doing it right. So set yourself up for the second set of 10. Off we go. Slowly down, power up, 1, 2, 3, good, 4, slow and controlled on the way down, fast on the way up, 5, 6, 7, 8, good, last 2, 9, 1 more, and 10, brilliant. Okay, one exercise left, which is where we're going to need the band. We're going to do another pull-in exercise for the arms, and this time we're going to do an upright row. So for this, if you place one foot on the middle of the band in front of you, and the other foot just steps back a little bit further behind, and with the ends of the band, while you're standing upright, you should feel tension in the band already, but the movement from there then, if I just do it slowly, is I'm going to lift the arms up so that my fists are actually pretty much in line with my shoulders. So they're still quite wide. I'm not bringing them in here because that'll put a little bit too much pressure on the shoulder joint. So we're keeping them relatively wide as you lift the arms up and the elbows go out to the side, and then you're going to control the descent as the band goes back to its normal length on the way down. So fast up, slow down. Set yourself up ready, and off we go. So explode up, slowly down. That's 1, 2, slowly back. Keep the rest of the body still, 3. So the only thing that should be moving, your arms. 4, 5, good. Make sure the fists finish just in front of the chest. 6, in front of the shoulders. So they're should be about shoulders width at the top. 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10. Good. Okay, have a little rest. Give your shoulders a shrug. So we're going to do a second set. So just make sure with this one that you make that the fists end up just in line with the shoulders in front. Common mistake with this is people come in too narrow, and then especially with this band, as it feels like it's pulling it forwards, it's going to rotate the shoulder and put a lot of stress on the shoulder. So, ready? Second set of 10. So explode up. 1, slowly down. 2, 3, 4, good. If it helps, you can lean forwards a little bit if you need to. 5, so you've got more weight on that front foot. 6, slow, fast. 7, 8, good. 2 more. 9, last one, and 10. Brilliant. Let that slowly go back down. Okay, right, just place the band to one side because you won't need that. We're going to finish off then for the cool down phase now. Now we've gone through all 8 exercises. We're just going to do a few stretches. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to start at the top, work down. So we're going to stretch the muscles across the side of the neck and the top of the back. So for this one, I want you to take one hand behind you and grab hold of that wrist with your other hand. And then I want you to make sure you're keeping that side of the shoulder, you're trying to keep it down towards the floor. So using your arm, your other hand to just try and pull the arm down. Once you've got hold of it, you're then going to turn the head away from that shoulder that's being pulled down, and then start to then take the chin forwards, so you're trying to place it towards the chest, and you should now create a stretch all the way down the side of the neck and on the top of the back on that opposite side. So we're going to hold that position for a few seconds. Feel that nice stretch going down the side of the neck and the top of the back. So keep that shoulder being pulled down and the head's being turned away from that side. Okay, bring the neck back upright again. Let's switch over, so grab hold of the opposite wrist. So I'm going to keep that shoulder pulled down, and then I'm going to then tilt my head away from that shoulder. When I start to feel stretch, I'm then going to just take my chin towards my chest to get more of a stretch around the side of the neck and the top of the back on that one side. So relax your breathing as you hold the stretch. Good, and release. Right, next one we're going to do is a chest stretch. So if you place the hand on the wall, so you've got your fingers pointing back behind you, keep a slight bend in the elbow, and then keeping the heel of the hand on the wall, I want you to just twist the body away from that arm to generate a stretch on the side of that chest. Again, relax your breathing while we hold that position of the stretch. And then switch over, same on the other side. So hand on the wall, fingers pointing backwards. Keep a slight bend in the elbow, twist the torso around until you feel a stretch on the chest. Good, and release. Right, we're going to stretch the muscles on the side of the back now. For this one, you need to place both hands on the wall, but quite a way up, so it's maybe slightly higher than head height. Take a few steps backwards, so you've got your feet to shoulder width wide, and then you're just going to let your bottom go back and your body drop down. Try and keep your arms straight at the elbows and think about pulling the elbows in towards your ears, and that should generate a stretch around the sides of the back. So again, we'll just hold that position for a few seconds, relax your breathing. Good, come back up. Right, we'll do a few for the legs, go further down. So we're going to do a quad stretch. So for this one, you can hold on to something for a support, but I want you to take hold of one foot, so trying to get the heel of that foot up as close as you can to your bottom, and then bring that bent knee in close to the other one, and if you can, try and pull it back a little bit to get the stretch on the front of the thigh. If you can't bend your knee very much, then what you can do is just use something behind you like the step that I've got here, keep the knee back, and then focus on pushing the hip forwards to still get a little bit of a stretch on the front of the thigh. Good, okay, let's switch over, same on the other side. So grab hold of the foot if you can, heel of the foot up as close as you can to your bottom, bring the knee in and then back a little bit, keeping the body upright to get the stretch on the front of the thigh. Good, right, let's sit down for the next one because I want to do a hamstring stretch and it's easier to do it in a seated position. So what I want you to do is while you're sat on the front half of your chair, straighten out the leg in front of you, make sure the knee stays straight, place the hands on the opposite leg, sit yourself up really tall, and that might already engage a stretch on your hamstrings on the back of the leg. If you're not feeling a stretch yet, keep your posture and think about pushing your belly button forwards, and that'll generate more of a stretch on that hamstring muscle on the back of the leg. Good, bring that foot in. Let's do the same on the other side. So leg straight at the knee, hands on the opposite leg. Sit yourself up tall. If you don't feel a stretch on the hamstrings, then just think about pushing your belly button forwards until you create that stretch. Good, okay, last one I want to do is a stretch for the calf muscle on the back of the leg. So I'm going to use the wall for this one. So you can place both hands on the wall like you're trying to push it. Take one foot back behind you and make sure the back leg stays straight and drive the back heel down into the floor. And then from there, I'm going to just gently start to ease my hips towards the wall as I go forwards until you can feel a stretch in the calf. So just make sure that that back heel stays flat on the floor to generate the stretch below the back of the knee. Good, and then switch over, same on the other side. So make sure the toes of the back foot are pointing straight forwards, push the heel down into the floor, and then begin to then bend the front knee more, pushing the hips forwards until you feel the stretch in the calf. Good, hopefully you're feeling fully charged now. Well done. I hope you enjoyed this power workout, and note that although it may not have felt too intense, you may still get some soreness over the next day or two because the muscles have been worked in a different manner to what you may be used to. However, if you enjoyed it, please give it a like by clicking the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. You can check out the description below for further information and ways that you can help support this channel. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay active and keep moving to feel better.
E